I'm going to just talk through this one here because Daniel chapter 7 is where I want to go next. And I don't have time because it needs to be explained good. And I'll go to this. But remember, if when you go back to that, Habakkuk, all of this uh, is lining up together. It says the Chaldees. The Chaldees was a branch out of the Gentiles. And when I started these recording, I said the Chaldees. The Chaldees is the spies. Chaldees vanished. But when you saw what the Chaldees did, look at the characteristics of the Chaldees. They was watchmen for the man, to man of democracy. He's the one who forsaken the covenant, who do not believe in God, who made a covenant with death and hell. They are the ones, the lamb God showed in the space show that went up with the man every time. They are the one who will take over. Daniel chapter 3 tells us the brass was going to be the ruler of it. These are the military generals. So I will not start this other part on Daniel chapter 7 today. I will leave it for another setting because it's just a part of this. But I will show you just temporarily what this is a part of Daniel chapter 6 was. It would clearly identify who this is. In other words, all the prophets that God gave, it ends with God having the victory. So he comes and speaks to us in a different format each and every time, the different characteristics. But yet, the majority of them I find through the Holy Bible, as God speaks to us, even though they are formatted different, most of them is the same prophecy. And I said within, how can people read the Bible all the way up to this point and then understand that God is talking about the same person? Either use a godly person or use a person of the demon. There was 3 nations upon this earth that God counted. One was out of Jupiter, one was out of Shem, and one was out of Ham. These was the nation that started the earth on this side of the flood. And God used these. But the richness of the nation, God gave Shem, the descendants out of Shem, the fat of the earth. But once the Jupiter, the people out of Jupiter who became the Gentiles, began to demarketize themselves because of the mixed breed of part angels and part men. They became the peoples of the wise men and built nations and mighty nations and a craft. And God told us from the beginning, when he spoke to Adam and Eve, the peacekeepers of the earth. He didn't say nothing about going out into space. So if this is not part of Bible prophecy, then the man that went out into space got to be a man that refused to obey God and do as he ordained, told man to do. So once this man began to craft and began to create craft and build manufacturing plant, he thought within his heart that I am the greatest nation on the face of earth. I can do anything I want to with my weapons of mass destruction. I can rule the whole complete world. But what he did when he began to believe in mythology, he started believing in his own self that he was the one doing all of this here. But as it was from the foundation of the earth, when God created this earth, God belonged to God for his enjoyment, and he will not stop until he bring it back into compliance from what his intention was. But it was man's will to go and exploit the earth, take the richness that God created and the glory that God created for himself, to glorify himself and not God. He went so far as taking over all the peoples and all the nations. This is what these nations out of the Gentiles do. And next part, he's going to challenge God at the end to take the dominion from God, saying, I did this, I defeated God. But no, I showed this in the recording of Ezekiel, where God had Jesus to blow up the space shuttle over Texas. You can't find this in the Quran. You can't find it in the Book of the Mormon. Once he blew that space shuttle up after he came down, he let us know that man flight was possible unless God allowed it to. But he allowed this to try the man's heart, to try the wicked man's heart, to enhance him. I heard a man say, we will defeat you. This is what our new president said. He said, we will defeat you. How? You can't defeat nothing without the will of God. All of this, but what God has done, he's angry with his people because they had transgressed the law of Moses time and time again, and their hearts have become the hearts of beasts. Even Israel have speaking with a defiled tongue. God spoke in Malachi. He said, are not we all brothers, and did not we all come from Abraham? As Abraham is our father? He didn't say Israel, Abraham. It's where God made the promise to, and because of Abraham. Even he spoke to Isaac, said, because of your father Abraham, I have did these things. Well, they continued to transgress. They took it on a law for salvation and their deliverance. They looked for the United States to deliver them. Is this not what the prophet Elijah, when God spoke to the prophet Elijah, when the king went and asked God of mythology, wanted to know, was he going to live or was he going to die? And God sent Elijah down and told him, since you is not there a prophet in Israel, why do you go to him? Well, why? What's wrong with the peoples that God placed in Israel to be over the peoples? Why are they not speaking concerning the things that God told them? Why do they transgress the law which God made a covenant with Abraham and made a covenant with all 12 tribes of Israel that they live by? What was wrong with this law that God had given them, that they go and change it for a law or democracy? What was wrong with the will of God, that they defile the will of God and not do according to what God commanded them, and they go and take on a law and obey the will of a man who was of the flesh? For that cause, God is angry with his peoples over there, and he is turning them not because of the man has strength, but because it's the will of God, so they can see they have committed a way of fornication by taking on a strange lover. So God is himself is going to turn them over to their lover. Great tribulation is going to be upon this earth like never have before, even from the foundation of the world. God is going to kill the food chain. Here in America, it is a corrupt nation. It defiles its government. It has connected house to house until it has spread it all over the land. God must bring an end to this, unless it wouldn't be a sacred soul left on the face of this earth, and God would have to completely destroy the complete old earth. Man must refrain from their ways, and they will. God is going to move up on this earth. Everybody looking for another day in the sun, looking to man for their deliverance. And it was a God who created the whole world and all of us here upon the face of the earth. I say to you, I am a prophet. I am a true prophet of God. I did not delight in what I seen, the things that God had showed me. It troubled me. And it's my responsibility as a prophet, a man of God, to warn you for one last time what is at hand. Every nation must come in compliance with the word of God. Thank